They say nothing breaks in the cold vacuum of space, but they were about to learn that humans do not bend. Tyler Blake watched through the viewport as the transport vessel approached the station that would become his tomb. The Helios Maximum Security Complex drifted against the stars of Proxima Centauri, a massive structure of reinforced alloy and quantum barriers that had contained the galaxy's most dangerous criminals for 2 centuries. 23 species had sent their worst here. None had ever left. Beautiful prison for a beautiful species, the Zalaxian guard beside him rasped, his mandibles clicking in amusement. His translator chip rendered the words with clinical precision. 200 years. Zero escapes. Welcome home, human. Tyler said nothing. 6 months ago, he had been Captain Tyler Blake of Earth Alliance Special Operations. Now he was Convict 38472, guilty of interfering with a Zalaxian diplomatic convoy. The fact that the convoy was secretly transporting biological weapons to enslave a developing world meant nothing to the Galactic Tribunal. The Zalaxians had allies. Humans did not. The docking clamps engaged with a metallic thud that reverberated through the hull. 5 other prisoners shuffled down the connector tube with him. A blue-skinned Andorian with too many arms, twin prone assassins, whose scales reflected the harsh overhead lights. A bulky Torran smuggler, and a slender vegan rebel with haunted eyes. Guards herded them into a vast processing chamber where machines hummed and sensors blinked. Arms extended. The order came from a Drenthi, one of the telepathic species that served as Helios's primary security. All 3 of her eyes blinked in sequence as she scanned Tyler's surface thoughts. Military training, special forces, flagged for enhanced monitoring. Scanners mapped his biology while a guard approached with a silver disc no larger than a coin. Tyler held still as the device pressed against his neck. Pain flared hot and sharp as microscopic filaments burrowed into his flesh. Tracking implant, the guard said. Tamper with it and the toxin release kills you in under 30 seconds. Removal is impossible. They stripped him of his transport coveralls and issued him grey prisoner fatigues. Each security checkpoint they passed grew more oppressive. Thicker doors, more invasive scans, deeper into the station's heart until they reached the final barrier. The door was massive, a circular slab of dark alloy etched with alien script that pulsed with faint blue light. A female guard named Kate Bell stood beside the access panel. She looked almost sympathetic. Quantum locked, she explained. Requires genetic verification and authorization codes. Nothing penetrates it otherwise. Not energy, not matter, not even data transmission. The door opened with a sound like thunder contained in metal. Beyond lay the main habitation zone. Unlike the sterile processing areas, this space teemed with alien life. Prisoners from across known space moved through a central courtyard. Some gathered at tables, others exercised in designated areas, while guards watched from elevated platforms mounted with automated turrets. Cell Block 7, Level 3, Unit 92. Kate pointed to a glowing holographic map. Your cellmate is already there. Advice: survive your first day before you try anything stupid. Tyler walked through the common area, aware of the eyes tracking him. Humans were rare in Helios. Most Terran criminals served time in Earth Alliance facilities. Only the ones who made powerful enemies ended up here. His cell measured 3 meters by 4, 2 narrow bunks, a washing station, a shimmering force field instead of a door. A Regilian sat on one bunk, his grey skin covered in ridge-like patterns, his eyes ancient and weary. You are the human. The Regilian's universal translator gave his voice a grinding quality. I am Dax. 53 years I have survived in this place. Tyler sat on the opposite bunk. Tyler Blake, how do you last that long? Dax made a sound like stones scraping together. Laughter. By accepting that I will die here. Helios is unbreakable, human. The sooner you understand this, the easier your existence becomes. A tone echoed through the facility. The force fields dropped in unison. Meal time. Dax stood slowly, joints creaking. Come, I will teach you the rules. As they walked toward the mess hall, Tyler's training took over. He observed patterns, guard rotations, camera blind spots, the rhythm of automated systems. It was instinct, cataloging weaknesses even when none seemed to exist. No one has ever escaped, Tyler said quietly. No one, Dax confirmed. Tyler nodded, but something stirred in his chest. Humans had always been good at doing the impossible. The mess hall stretched the length of 3 cargo bays, filled with long metal tables where aliens segregated themselves by species. Tyler followed Dax through the food line where machines dispensed nutrition cubes tailored to each prisoner's biology. Grey ones are human-compatible. Dax pointed at colorless blocks that looked like compressed cardboard. They contain everything your body requires. Tyler took his tray and sat beside Dax at a table with several non-humans. The nutrition cube tasted exactly as it looked. New human, a creature with 4 arms and emerald skin, leaned forward. I am Zex. What crime earned you this honor? Before Tyler could answer, a buzzer cut through the ambient noise. Every alien stood at attention. Administrator approaching, Dax whispered. Stand if you value your life. A tall figure entered the hall, flanked by 6 Drenthi guards. The administrator had pale blue skin so translucent her veins showed beneath, and eyes that were entirely black. She moved with predatory grace. Administrator Vexner, Dax explained quietly. She has commanded Helios for 30 years. Even the guards fear her. Vexner walked between the tables, those black eyes scanning prisoners with clinical interest. When she reached Tyler's table, she stopped. The new human. Her voice was melodic and cold. Captain Tyler Blake of Earth Alliance Special Operations. Your kind is rare here. Tyler met her gaze. Not by choice. Vexner's mouth curved into something that might have been a smile. No one chooses Helios, Captain Blake, but understand this. You will die here. The Xylaxians were very specific about your sentence. She leaned closer, her voice dropping to a whisper meant only for him. I know soldiers like you, always analyzing, always planning. Save yourself the suffering. There is no escape from my prison. After Vexner left, the hall slowly returned to normal. Tyler noticed a human woman watching him from across the room, short brown hair, sharp, intelligent eyes. Who is she? Tyler asked Dax. Nina Martinez, arrived 8 months ago. Computer specialist who exposed galactic corruption. Be cautious around her. She has made allies among the Exilaki. Tyler nodded toward a group of insectoid aliens with dark exoskeletons. Those. Yes. They control most of the maintenance assignments. Safe work, relatively speaking. After the meal, guards directed prisoners to work details. Tyler was assigned to waste processing, located in the station's lowest level. The work was hot, dirty, and deliberately degrading. First day is always waste duty. A voice spoke beside him. Nina Martinez. They do it to break your spirit. Tyler pulled a piece of scrap metal from a pile of organic sludge. Does it work? She smiled slightly. Not on humans. Word travels fast. You tried to stop a Xylaxian slave operation. Tyler focused on his work. Relax, Nina said. Half the prisoners here are political. The Galactic Council uses Helios to disappear anyone who threatens the status quo. Her voice dropped lower. There are others like us, people who know the system is corrupt. A guard approached and Nina quickly moved away. The guard was human, his name badge reading Rogers. He watched Tyler with calculating eyes. Blake, Rogers said. Administrator wants a full security assessment tomorrow. Seems you caught her attention. After his shift, Tyler returned to his cell. His muscles ached from manual labor, but his mind remained active. He had counted 43 cameras on his route from mess hall to waste processing. Noted 6 security checkpoints, each with different protocols. Observed that Drenthi guards rotated every 6 hours. How was your first day? Dax asked from his bunk. Educational, Tyler replied, staring at the ceiling. Dax made his grinding laugh. You are already searching for an exit. Tyler did not respond. Instead, he closed his eyes and began mentally mapping every detail he had observed about Helios. The Unbreakable prison had just met an unpredictable variable. The security assessment proved more invasive than Tyler expected. 3 Drenthi guards strapped him into a metal chair in a windowless room. They attached sensors to his head and chest. This will cause pain, one guard said flatly. Try not to scream. For 2 hours, they bombarded him with questions about his military background, his crime, his first impressions of Helios. Whenever they suspected deception, they activated the sensors. Electricity coursed through his nervous system. By the end, Tyler was drenched in sweat, but had revealed nothing useful. Humans are surprisingly resistant, the lead guard noted to her companions. Increase his security rating to level 5. Over the next 2 weeks, Tyler settled into prison routine. He continued waste processing, but used every moment to observe and learn. During exercise periods in the main courtyard, he met prisoners from different cell blocks. One afternoon, while using the weight stations, a tall insectoid approached. Its exoskeleton was dark green, and its compound eyes reflected light like polished gems. Human, it clicked through its translator. I am Grix of the Exilaki. Nina Martinez says you might be worth speaking with. Tyler set down his weights. What does an Exilaki want with a human? Grix's antennae twitched. We maintain the ventilation systems. We see things others do not, like how you observe everything, making mental notes, searching for weaknesses in an unbreakable system. Tyler kept his expression neutral. I am trying to survive. Of course. Grix made a sound like scraping metal, laughter, just as I was simply fixing air filters when I mapped every ventilation shaft in the eastern wing. The alien leaned closer. Exercise period ends in 4 minutes. Tomorrow, use the weight station by the southern wall. You might meet someone interesting. The next day, Tyler positioned himself at the southern wall station. As promised, someone interesting appeared. A swirling cloud of purple gas contained in a transparent containment suit. Hello, human. The gas formed words without sound, transmitting directly through Tyler's translator implant. I am Prue, a Nebulian. Tyler continued his exercise routine while watching guards from his peripheral vision. Never met a Nebulian before. Few have. My kind rarely leaves our home system, the gaseous being shifted inside its containment suit. The prison uses special fields to maintain my physical form, but they do not know that during radiation belt crossings, the fields weaken just enough for me to sample surrounding systems. Tyler caught on immediately. How often does Helios cross this radiation belt? Every 64 days. Next crossing is in 37 days. Prue swirled faster with excitement. Nina says you were special operations, that you understand systems and their weaknesses. Tyler's mind raced. A pattern was forming. Nina, Grix, now Prue, all approaching him, all offering information about potential vulnerabilities in Helios, pieces of a larger puzzle. Later in the mess hall, Tyler sat beside Nina. You have been busy making connections for me. She smiled slightly. Just introducing people with common interests. And what interest would that be? Nina's voice dropped to a whisper. Freedom. There are 28 of us now, all political prisoners, all with skills. We have been gathering information for months, but we needed someone who could assemble it properly. Why me? Because you think differently. Special operations taught you things we can't do. Make connections others cannot see. She slid a small object under his tray, a data chip the size of a fingernail. 51 failed escape attempts in 2 centuries. All the data is here. Study it. Learn from their mistakes. That night, while Dax slept, Tyler examined the chip using a stolen maintenance reader. It contained detailed reports on every escape attempt ever made at Helios. Each had failed for different reasons, but Tyler noticed something no one else had seen. Helios was not truly unbreakable. Its systems had been designed by different species, each with their own logic. They did not always integrate perfectly. There were gaps, tiny, almost invisible gaps, but they existed. Tyler smiled in the darkness. The prison relied on the predictability of its inmates, but humans were anything but predictable. Over the following week, Tyler met secretly with the others in Nina's network. They gathered in small numbers during meals or exercise, never more than 3 at once to avoid suspicion. Each brought valuable information. The quantum locks reset during maintenance cycles, Nina explained during one meeting, but only for 8.2 seconds, and the timing appears random. Not random, Tyler said quietly. The resets happen when the station passes through specific points in the radiation belt. The system interprets it as interference. Grex clicked his mandibles in surprise. How did you determine this? Patterns, Tyler said. I compared the data with the station's orbital trajectory. The maintenance cycles align perfectly with radiation belt crossings. This was the human advantage. Seeing connections where others saw only chaos, Tyler began forming a plan, assigning roles based on each prisoner's abilities. Nina would hack the communication grid. Grix would manipulate ventilation controls to create distractions. Prue would use the radiation belt crossing to sample quantum lock codes. During exercise one afternoon, Tyler noticed a guard watching him closely. The man was human with a name badge reading Collins. When Tyler returned to his work detail, Collins appeared again. "Need assistance with that?" Collins asked, helping Tyler lift a heavy container. Tyler tensed, ready for a trap. "Thanks," Collins spoke quietly. "Not all guards agree with what happens here. Some of us see the injustice." "Why are you telling me this?" "Because I know what you are planning." Collins kept his face neutral. "And I know about the radiation belt vulnerability, but you do not have all the information." Tyler's heart rate increased. "What do you mean?" "The administrator knows about the vulnerability too. During crossings, they double the Drenthi guards and add motion sensors in all critical areas." This changed everything. Tyler had been counting on minimal security during the radiation belt crossing. "Why help me?" Collins glanced around to ensure privacy. "My sister was on Callisto Colony when the Zalaxians came. You saved those people. The tribunal made you a criminal for it. That is not justice." The next day, Tyler's work assignment changed unexpectedly. He was moved from waste processing to power management, a restricted area where few prisoners worked. Tyler suspected Administrator Vexner was testing him. Power management gave Tyler access to new information. He learned that during radiation belt crossings, the prison diverted extra power to security systems, but this created strain on other systems. If multiple systems demanded power at once, the backups would engage, creating a 3-second gap in the security grid. Combined with the 8.2-second reset window, they would have 11.2 seconds to move through secured areas. Barely enough time, but possible. Tyler shared this information with Nina during lunch. "We need to create power demands across all systems at once." She nodded. "I can program the food dispensers to malfunction. Grix can increase atmosphere recycling to maximum. Prue can." She stopped as Administrator Vexner approached their table. "Prisoner Blake." Vexner's voice was ice. "I notice you have made many friends in your short time here." Tyler kept his face neutral. "Just adapting." "Indeed, adaptation is a particularly human trait. So is deception." She leaned closer. "I have had multiple humans in my prison before you. All thought they were cleverer than the system. All failed." After she left, Nina looked worried. "She suspects something." Tyler nodded. "Then we need to accelerate. The next radiation belt crossing is in 19 days. That is when we move." That night, Tyler lay awake in his cell, reviewing the plan in his mind. It was dangerous, possibly suicidal, but it could work. The prison had never faced a coordinated effort from so many species, led by a human who could see the patterns they all missed. For the first time in 200 years, the Unbreakable might just break. With 13 days until the radiation belt crossing, Tyler decided to run a test. They needed to know exactly how guards would respond to a system malfunction. During lunch, Nina used a modified food dispenser to trigger a minor power surge in the eastern wing. Alarms blared throughout the facility. Tyler watched carefully as guards rushed to follow emergency protocols. Drenthi secured the cells. Human guards checked common areas. Xylaxians monitored exits. It was orderly and predictable, except for one thing. "Did you see that?" Tyler asked Collins later during his work shift. Collins nodded. When the power surged, the camera system switched to backup power. But there was a 3.5-second delay before the backup engaged. The cameras were blind. "The administrator knows about that glitch," Tyler said. "That is why they increase physical patrols during alerts." Tyler filed this away. They would need multiple distractions to pull guards from critical areas. That night, Tyler was woken by his cell's force field deactivating. 2 Drenthi guards entered. "Prisoner Blake, come with us." They took him to an interrogation room where Administrator Vexner waited. The room was small with bright lights and no windows. "Sit," she commanded. Tyler sat across from her. A Drenthi guard stood behind him. "You have been busy," Vexner said, Power management reports show someone accessed historical data on radiation belt crossings. Tyler kept his face neutral. I am doing my assigned work. I think not. I think you are planning something foolish. Vexner's black eyes narrowed. The Drenthi will now scan your thoughts. Tyler felt a presence probing his mind as the guard placed a hand near his head. This was dangerous. If the Drenthi discovered their plan, everything would be lost. Tyler did something unexpected. He began thinking about Earth mathematics, complex calculus problems, geometric patterns, prime number sequences. His mind raced through equations and symbols at overwhelming speed. The Drenthi guard hissed in pain and stepped back. His mind is chaotic. Humans think differently than other species. It is like trying to hold water. Vexner looked surprised. What do you mean? Most species think in orderly patterns. Humans jump between ideas constantly, chaotic associations. The Drenthi shook his head. I detect no concrete escape plans, but his thoughts are slippery and difficult to read. Tyler was returned to his cell, but the next day he noticed more guards watching him. His work assignment changed again. Now he cleaned the mess hall, a job with no access to critical systems. They are suspicious, Nina whispered during lunch. We should delay. Tyler shook his head. No, they suspect something but do not know what. If we wait, they will discover more. But they cut your access. That is why we accelerate the timeline. Tyler passed her a small device under the table. Collins gave me this. It can disrupt Drenthi telepathic abilities for about 6 minutes. Enough time to move without them reading our intentions. 8 days before the planned escape, a new prisoner arrived. A female human named Amy Wright. The guards placed her in Nina's cell. That night, Nina sent an urgent message through their hidden communication system. Amy was a plant, sent to spy on them. Tyler called an emergency meeting during exercise period, gathering his core team in the wait area. Security is tightening. They suspect something but lack details. We need to change our timeline. How? Asked Grix. The radiation belt crossing is fixed. Tyler smiled slightly. What if we do not wait for the crossing? What if we bring the crossing to us? Prue's gaseous form swirled in confusion. Impossible. The station's orbit is fixed. The orbit is fixed, Tyler agreed. But the radiation is not. He turned to Dax, who had recently joined their network. You worked in navigation before your arrest. Could the station's shield harmonics be adjusted to attract radiation particles? Dax's eyes widened. Theoretically, yes, but it would require access to the main control room. Leave that to me, Tyler said. We move in 4 days. Tell everyone to be ready. As they dispersed, Tyler caught Colin's eye across the courtyard. The guard gave a slight nod. Their most dangerous gamble was about to begin. The next 4 days were the most dangerous yet. Tyler and his team had to prepare without raising further suspicion. They communicated through tap codes during meals and passed messages hidden in waste containers. Tyler needed access to shield control systems. The only way was through the main engineering section, an area no prisoner was allowed to enter. This is where Collins would be essential. I can get you 12 minutes, Collins whispered during cleaning duty. There is a guard inspection tomorrow at 0900. I will ensure I am assigned to engineering. What about the cameras? Collins slipped him a small device. Place this in your pocket. It will mask your life signs from sensors. The following morning, Tyler waited in a maintenance closet near engineering. His heart pounded as he watched the time display on the wall. At exactly 8:55, the door opened. Collins stood there in uniform. Quick! Collins handed Tyler a guard uniform. You have 10 minutes. The inspection is shorter than expected. Tyler changed rapidly and followed Collins through 3 security checkpoints. The guard's identification worked perfectly. They reached the main engineering control room, empty except for automated systems. I will watch the door, Collins said. Hurry. Tyler went to work. He accessed the shield control panel and input a series of commands. The system required authorization. It is locked, Tyler called to Collins. Try 7934 Alpha 12. Tyler entered the code. The system accepted it. He quickly adjusted the shield harmonics to attract specific radiation particles, the same kind found in the radiation belt. But he needed one more change. He accessed power distribution and created a subroutine that would trigger cascading system failures when radiation levels peaked. 90 seconds, Collins warned. Tyler finished the programming and erased all traces of his access. They left engineering and Tyler returned to the maintenance closet to change back into prisoner fatigues. That night, Nina passed him a message during dinner. Amy is reporting all prisoner movements to Vexner. Plan discovered. Tyler shook his head slightly. They had been careful to compartmentalize the full plan. No one except Tyler knew all the details. Even if Amy reported to Vexner, she could only reveal fragments. The next day, alarms blared throughout the station. Tyler was working in the mess hall when lights flickered. An announcement echoed over speakers. Attention all personnel. Unexpected radiation surge detected. Shield modifications in progress. This is not a drill. Collins appeared in the doorway and caught Tyler's eye. He gave a subtle thumbs up. The shield modifications were working. They were artificially creating radiation belt conditions. Guards began herding prisoners back to cells. Tyler allowed himself to be led away, but as they passed a junction, Grix created a diversion. The insectoid knocked over a cleaning cart, spilling liquid across the floor. In the confusion, Tyler slipped away down a maintenance corridor. He met Nina at the predetermined location, a service junction near the eastern wing. "It is working," she said. "Systems are overloading exactly as you predicted. Prue is in position near the quantum locks. Dax has accessed the emergency shuttle bay." The station shook violently. Warning lights flashed everywhere. "What was that?" Nina asked, alarmed. "The radiation is causing more interference than I calculated," Tyler said. "The shields are failing faster than expected." Another announcement blared. "Emergency protocol engaged. All prisoners return to cells immediately. Security level maximum." "This is bad," Nina said. "If the shields fail completely, the station will be exposed to lethal radiation." "Which means we need to move now," Tyler finished. "We have less than 25 minutes before radiation reaches critical levels." As they hurried toward the rendezvous point, Tyler heard heavy footsteps behind them. He turned to see Administrator Vexner with 4 Drenthi guards. "I underestimated you, human." Her voice was cold. "You would risk everyone on this station to attempt the impossible." Tyler stepped in front of Nina. "Nothing is impossible. That is something you non-humans never understand about us." The station shook again, more violently. And in that moment of distraction, Tyler made his move. As the station shook, Tyler pressed the device Collins had given him. The Drenthi guards grabbed their heads in pain, temporarily blinded to thoughts and intentions. "Run!" Tyler shouted to Nina. They sprinted down the corridor as emergency lights flashed red and alarms screamed. Vexner pursued them, surprisingly fast for her thin frame. "You have doomed us all, human." Tyler and Nina reached a junction where Grix waited. The insectoid quickly opened a maintenance hatch. "This way." They crawled through a narrow shaft, sounds of pursuit fading behind them. The station shuddered again, more violently. "Status report," Tyler said when they emerged in a lower section. Grix's mandibles clicked rapidly. "Prue has sampled the quantum lock codes. Dax has bypassed shuttle bay security, but there is a problem. The radiation is affecting shuttle launch systems." They hurried through dimly lit corridors where emergency power was already failing. They passed panicked guards evacuating prisoners from the most exposed sections. In the chaos, nobody paid attention to 3 figures moving with purpose against the flow. When they reached the rendezvous point, a maintenance bay near the shuttle docks, the rest of their team waited. Prue swirled anxiously in his containment suit. Dax worked frantically on a control panel. 6 other prisoners from different species huddled nearby, all ready to risk everything for freedom. "We have a serious problem," Dax said. "Automated systems will not release the shuttle. The radiation has triggered complete lockdown." Tyler went to the control panel. Emergency protocols had indeed locked everything down. No automated system would release the shuttle now. "We need manual override," Tyler said. "There must be a physical release." "There is," Collins said, appearing from a side entrance. His uniform was torn and he was bleeding from a cut on his forehead. "But it is in the main control room. Vexner is there now." Tyler made a quick decision. "New plan. Grix, take everyone to Shuttle Bay 4. The emergency evacuation pod is there. It is smaller but will fit everyone. What about you? Nina asked. I am going to the control room to release the locks and distract Vexner. Collins handed Tyler his weapon. You will need this. Code is 2189. As the others headed for the evacuation pod, Tyler made his way to the main control room. The station was in complete chaos now. Sections were being sealed off as radiation leaked through failing shields. Twice Tyler had to hide from rushing guards. He reached the control room to find Vexner alone, working frantically at the main console. I wondered when you would arrive, she said without turning. Come to finish what you started. I came to release the shuttle locks. Vexner laughed bitterly. You think I care about that now? Your tampering has created a cascading shield failure. In 15 minutes, lethal radiation will flood this entire station. Everyone will die. Unless you evacuate, Tyler said. Evacuate. Admit that a human broke my unbreakable prison. She turned to face him, her pale face twisted with anger. I would rather die. Tyler moved to the auxiliary control panel. I am not going to let everyone die because of your pride. As he worked, Vexner watched him curiously. You could escape now. Why try to save the others? Because that is what humans do, Tyler said, fingers flying over controls. We break things, then we fix them. Tyler activated the emergency evacuation protocol. Throughout the station, alarms changed tone, signaling all personnel to head to evacuation points. He unlocked shuttle bay doors and released manual overrides. It is done, he said, stepping back. Everyone can escape now. Vexner stared at him in disbelief. Including me, after everything I did. Everyone means everyone. Tyler ran from the control room, heading for Shuttle Bay 4. When he arrived, Nina and the others were waiting. The pod barely fit 9. We are 10, Dax said grimly. Before anyone could argue, Collins stepped forward. I will stay. I will take the next shuttle with the guards. They boarded the pod with seconds to spare. As it launched away from the failing station, Tyler looked out the viewport. Hundreds of emergency shuttles were now streaming away from Helios. Their plan had failed, and succeeded at once. The pod's communication system crackled. Collins' voice came through. Sending you coordinates to a safe haven in the outer colonies. Good luck, Tyler Blake. Remember, you did not just break out of Helios. You broke Helios itself. 3 days later, news spread across the galaxy. The Unbreakable prison was no more. Administrator Vexner survived and faced tribunal for her refusal to evacuate prisoners during the crisis. The Xylaxian diplomatic corruption was exposed during the investigation. Charges against Tyler Blake were dropped. But Tyler never returned to Earth Alliance service. Instead, he and his unlikely team of escapees founded something new. A network that helped political prisoners across the galaxy. They called it the Helios Protocol, because humans had learned long ago that nothing is truly unbreakable. Not prisons, not systems, not tyranny. All it takes is one person willing to see what others cannot, and the courage to act when others will not. The story of the human who broke Helios became legend among the stars, and whenever someone said something was impossible, there was always someone who would reply, tell that to Tyler Blake.